red on your remote. But joining us now live is the Assistant Minister to the Treasurer, Michael Sukkar, to talk about those better than expected GDP figures. You'd be happy with those, wouldn't you?
Well, Sam, we are happy. I mean, we never want to get too excited about these things, but 0.8% growth in the quarters are very strong. It means that for the year we've had growth of 1.9%, which exceeds the 1.75% that we budgeted for. So it's always good when these numbers exceed our expectations.
What's driving it, though? It said household consumption, food and all the rest of it. Doesn't that also tell you, though, that prices are going up and people are spending more, and probably people are, when they've got low wage growth, really feeling those economic pressures more keenly? Well,
Sam, inflation is at relatively historic lows. And what we've seen, though, is I think some more confidence. Yes, that private demand is fueling a lot of the growth, but people, whilst they're still saving, perhaps not saving as much as they were, which is usually an indication that they're more confident. They're not squirreling away as much for a rainy day because they're perhaps not as pessimistic about that rainy day being just around the corner. So I think confidence is high. I think most indicators suggest that. And I think the fact that a lot of this has been fueled by private demand is good. It's also been fueled by strong exports, private sector investment in a business sense. All these indicators are looking good. Now, you know, Chris Bowen and the Labor Party will, of course, try to find any negative they can. It's quite sad when the Shadow Treasurer and the Shadow Treasury team will try to, in a sense, find any bad news they can. But I think it's very difficult with 0.8% growth to say anything other than this is a very positive result.
You're accusing an opposition of being negative. That's shocking news. But there are these reports today in the Financial Review that a buyer for the Liddell power station will show its hand today, despite the fact that AGL is saying it's not sure that it wants to actually sell it. Do you think that there will be people that want to invest in that power station?
Look, I'm not privy to that sort of information. I'd be surprised if there wasn't. And, you know, it was very interesting seeing this debate overnight. I mean, the Prime Minister, Josh Frydenberg, indeed, every member of the government has one obligation, and that is to Australians to give them the most affordable and secure electricity. Now, AGL, they have an obligation to their shareholders to maximise profits. Their interests are not necessarily aligned to ours, but I would expect that, you know, a site like Liddell, pretty profitable, you'd have someone that would be interested, but I'm not privy to that information.
But you're meant to be a small government man, not an agrarian socialist. Do you really think that we should be throwing money hand over fist now to stop, for example, pumping all this taxpayer cash into renewables and start handing out free money for people to buy power stations or to build new ones?
Well, Sam, to an extent the horse is bolted. I mean, our electricity industry is highly regulated. Yes, I am a small government man, but my interest is the interest of the Australian people, I think, trump any sort of philosophical or ideological positions we might have on this. And the reality is the AEMO report today has said that there's going to be a shortfall of dispatchable power. One way that we can ensure that that shortfall is met is to extend the life of a plant like Liddell. And I applaud the Prime Minister and Josh Frydenberg for that work, because the Labor Party almost, you know, want to cover their eyes and ears and just say, we're ignoring all of these questions.
So you're going to go full socialist, just take control of Liddell and start handing out money?
We should bring Bronwyn Bishop in here. We can have a really good debate about socialism and other things. There are a lot of socialists in the Labor Party, but no, what we want to do is we want to repair the damage caused by this ideological, reckless indifference that the Labor Party's had. I mean, Bill Shorten wants to take South Australia to the rest of the country. Now, I know you're a proud South Australian, so I've got to be careful what I say here.
Only South Australians really.
But I can tell you as a Victorian, we don't want your blackouts. Jay Weatherall, Bill Shorten, Mark Butler, we don't want your blackouts. We don't want the highest electricity costs in the country that you have. And Bill Shorten's plan is to take that national.
OK, just a few quick other ones, because I know you've got to go. Should we ban the burqa? George Christensen says we should.
I don't like the burqa. I think it's a symbol of female oppression, but as a Liberal, we don't tell people what they can and can't wear.
OK, and Plan C on the plebiscite. If the High Court strikes out this postal plebiscite, will you support the Prime Minister, Malcolm Turnbull, in just having a free vote in Parliament and a conscious vote for all MPs?
Well, I don't know. I'm going to give you a politician's answer. I don't know if you've been watching what's been happening in the High Court. I think the likelihood of this going down in the High Court is very, very low. So my message to you and everyone else is gear up for a postal survey. It's going to be fantastic. We're all going to get a say.
But if it doesn't happen,
we're all going to get a say.
The Prime Minister's clear to just have a free vote. Just forget about that.
I didn't say that. I completely ignored your question because I think the postal survey is happening.
What do you think the Liberal Party would do to the Prime Minister, Malcolm Turnbull, if he went to a Plan C that didn't involve a plebiscite?
I think the party room is very happy that the Prime Minister has so vigorously pursued every option to get a people's vote, because we want the people to have a say, and I think most Australians want to have a say on this as well.
All right. Thank you very much for your time this morning, Michael.